All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday, April 19th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. I know I'm good to go across the trading room. Great to see all of our students, including Tina, Ken, Skip, Kathleen, Michael, Stefan, Taz. Great to see you all. And for all of us in social media, I believe you folks are good to go as well. Facebook Live and YouTube, that is. Let's hop right into the thick of things, as I like to say. And with that said, we do have class coming up, so for any reason, that would be it. So we'll go across the percent gainers and losers lists in just a second here. I want to start off actually just on the CLOV. We'll be talking more about this within the phase 2 course coming up live later on today. So, we'll talk about actually a recent trade I just took on this myself. I know that Tina's watching this. Jeff ended up just getting a nice profit himself on this trade. We were in roughly from right around this line here at 972. Jeff took it from 71. I first chased it. I saw this like beginning to rattle and shake around here as I turned back to this trade. I'm normally not trading going into the late morning, early afternoon anyway, let alone on a class day. That's where my focus is really. Like I got to do like PowerPoint work. But, I turned back to this stock just flipping through and it's already at 977. I say already, meaning that it broke under and over this price. I'm like, crap, I got to jump in fast. This is the bounce. And I ended up taking a small loss because I ended up setting my stop below 970. I got stopped out probably on the bottom of this bar, probably, 68. So I was watching it still. The second I got out, it started to begin to like crown off and push back up. And, Jeff said that his stop is a little bit lower. He had a better entry at least, but I realized, you know what? It's worth taking twice. It was a setup that I lined up. This was a line I had on my main trading platform on my other computer here, beginning from 8:30 Eastern Time. So I have to trust what I put on my chart to begin with. And with that said, I ended up retaking the trade. I got back in at 72 at least this time on a double position. I ended up closing out at 93, and then I let this shake around quite a bit. I said to us live inside the trading room that at this point, you know what? If I set my stop below a past iceberg at 988, it'll be an auto profit. So I wasted a little profit on the last half of my shares as it squeezed back down, but I got stopped out at 88 right on the nose. And for that, I mean, hey, it's like kind of dropping off a bit now. This stock has had a few chances of trying to break out and run over 10. So I'm going to go over to another stock actually here in just a bit. We'll go to the top of the gainers list after. But with this shaking below 10 once, shaking below 10 twice here, don't get me wrong. I guess there is a chance it could break back over 10 and fly. I was more hopeful of that earlier. But it reminds me of the CLNE trade. Not now, I'm saying it reminded me of CLNE from pre-market, where this had a good chance of breaking over 14, running nicely and breaking above the pre-market high. It failed to do that. It ended up breaking back below 14 right before the market was opening up, right here. And the end result is certainly not a buying opportunity. So it just leaves me to say, if it's not breaking higher, there's only one other way the stock's going to go. So I feel like, for CLOV, it's kind of do or die here, trading 206 million shares on a 102 million share float. We've seen bigger ratios in that regard, but I'd be more inclined at this point to look for the weight down, unless if this pops like as soon as we turn away from the stock, which would be a great sign for the long. Unless if that happens, I would be more focused on a breakdown below support coming up here. We'll see. I mean, hey, I love trading CLOV either way. For anyone that's already long, I'm hoping that this moves back up and blasts back over 10. Certainly, we're going to put this on our watch list to begin, and definitely by the end of this meeting, we'll just check back in with it. I'm sure if it pops over 10 midway through, I'm sure I'll get the shout from a couple of us live. MRLN, MRLN. I don't know what the hell this is. So top of the gainers list here. I'm not going to check the news on it. Doesn't seem like it's worth our time. My shoot from the hip guess would be a buyout, but I think it would be more volume if that was a buyout. I don't know. AMBO, this one was a little lackluster. It did pop after the open. I guess I should say I missed this opportunity after 9:30. This wasn't one of the first ones I was watching leading into the market open today, but hey, ended up making a bit of a pop, broke out over 250 on a second attempt, but it got shaky from there. It ended up moving up nicely up towards 3 and above, but eventually you knew that the wheels were going to fall off on the stock pretty quickly. This had a really low float given the volume it was trading in pre-market. So now at this point, I can only imagine this just dumping off more, otherwise just being really lifeless and flat. All right, I saw this in pre-market early. This is Warren's DBDRW, another acquisition company. I was like, let me just check out the equity first, like the regular ticker, and this is doing nothing. So It's unfortunate. These SPAC companies pop up, every now and then, and some look tradable, some we tend to trade frequently, but not all of them. This looks like a buyout. I'm not going to check the news, but if I were to put my life savings on anything, it would be that this would be a buyout. It's not an official wager, so if I'm wrong on that. CLOV W, the warrants. So again, we talked about CLOV, the regular stock, the equity that is, and the warrants are cheaper, but not really as often as good to trade. This Archon, I know we've traded in the past. Just take a look at the daily chart. This thing looks like coiled up, ready to explode. I'm talking about like the trend off the lows and highs. This is essentially building a huge pennant. So for right now, at least, as far as a day trade heading into this Monday, I mean, hey, it's at the highs, making more of an afternoon move. You have to respect that. Just not a whole lot really to talk about otherwise. Like, yeah, resistance off of like what would appear to be 8. This is not the biggest order that's on the book currently even. I'll put this on our list, I guess. Hopefully we'll find better than this even. This Galt trade looked good going into like 1:45, 2 o'clock Eastern. Dropped off, though. I was pretty hopeful to see this break out better. HT, Fausto called this out after 9:30. Same thing on this. Now, DGLY, this has been creeping up towards the highs all afternoon. And another one from pre-market. Wish I could like insta take a picture of my notepad and show you folks. I had this number 3 on my side list this morning. Not to say I took a trade on this. I wish I did. But it was showing a lot of volume traded early in pre-market. It was trending up a little bit in pre-market after 8 o'clock. It caught my interest, just unfortunately with all the crap, we'll say, happening within the world, and we're not going to talk about all that here, but just to say, during unfortunate times, we've seen this company in particular make some big moves in the past, and it ended up squeezing up after the open. It's still near the highs right now. I think that the only gripe I have on this trade is that it's like just almost too liquid, trading too much volume on the order book. I'm hopeful that this will make a big breakout later on today. If not today, maybe, keep it on your side list for the remainder of the week. All right, we got a couple of other familiar names here across the gainers end, folks. UAVS, ooh, this is pushing up nicely, or it just did before. Hit a high of 572 and pulled back down now. Looks like there was a lot of volume filled off the breakout roughly from like 550, 557-ish. You could just tell from the TradeStation volume bars here on the right side. So looks like there had to have been a lot of volume just recently traded off of 557 in particular, 57, 58. Kind of holding underneath that price right now as we speak. So you got to respect that as resistance. Just a familiar name. I definitely will put this on our watch list for right now, UAVS, in hopes that it can make a higher high later on, but lower high as of now, right from that price. CLNE, interesting play from earlier today. We talked about the big snap below 14 support. That was prior to the market opening, folks. So it just goes to ask, like, what if history repeats itself? What if this ends up re-breaking below 14 support once the market does open? So I'm referring to this big snap right here. Doesn't look that big compared to what it did after 9:30, but right here, you got to ask what happens if more selling comes in after 9:30 when the market opens. It didn't take long at all for this to, re-break that support, hold it as resistance here, and then just slam right back down. So just another example as to, how good news comes out for a stock doesn't always mean you're just going to throw a dart on the wall and hope it lands in terms of buying and seeing it run up higher. And, Ken says he's long right now. Ken, I hope that you're long from 12. Or maybe under, maybe like 1180-ish. It's still volatile in the sense of the move in pre-market. It's trading about, like 85, 90,000 shares per minute. So I wouldn't really have an issue putting this on our main list. Just I feel like compared to what it normally trades, it just might be pretty exhausted. So if you're long from 12, Ken, you're doing pretty good. I can see this popping up over 1250, maybe on some false breakout type move. And from there, you take a nice profit. Probably be the first on the side list, I'd say, for this stock. I think that we missed the boat from 12 there. QFIN. Nah. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list. We'll see what else we got here, folks, and then we'll just about wrap it up. I'm going to actually preset my Benzinga Pro here quick just so I can jump right to that after. LFMD, I guess you can say it's kind of near the low of the day, but not a whole lot happening of late there. HAE. Now, Fausto brought this up during our live audio commentary from the morning, just kind of saying, hey, like, you never know what could happen to a stock just when you look to swing trade it. Bad pharma news had to have come out on this stock. I mean, that would just be my shoot from the hip guess, but man, just imagine waking up and seeing this at like 95 and it was at like 120 as of Friday or so, and then to only see it just tail off even further. Yeah, we're not going to day trade a stock this expensive, but interesting to see still trade this much volume going into the end of the day. I'll tell you what, folks, just kind of skimming through here on the loser's end. I can scope this out more and more over the days and weeks and months and years that I've been doing this. Just not a whole lot really to work with on the loser's end, unless if it's down big or unless if it's shortable. This stock DDD is shortable. Dropping off a bit here. I don't really feel a need to put this stock on our list. I can if I want to. Just goes to show it's a Monday, so I'm just trying to take things pretty selectively at this point. All right, I can put this on our list if I really, want to, but I don't really need to. I think that we're pretty much set. The Canon trade, perhaps. At least this is one we're familiar with. I'd rather follow a Canon here heading into the close compared to something I'm not as frequent to trade. So at least this Canon making a nice bounce from like 1 o'clock in the afternoon off the low, roughly off that 1150 level. And, for as much as it dropped over the last week and a half, perhaps, if Bitcoin decides to move back up again, if the markets spike back up, perhaps this can go with it. A lot of perhaps and maybes there, but at least it's at volatile enough for us to just kind of keep on our list here. If it could re-break below 12, then maybe it could be a good short opportunity. QuantumScape. All right, folks, that just about wraps it up from me here. Looking on Benzinga Pro, I don't really see any other big stocks that are popping right now. Maybe I got to reload this thing. Oh, nope, I'm good. All right, what else we got here, folks, from us live inside Cyber Group and for all of us on social media? If you folks see anything up, down, left, right, more than like 5% here, type it in the chat board. Just let me know. Got a bagel from Benzinga Pro. Not a good tasting bagel. Bagel is in zero. No stocks that are really making a big pop, new high of the day. So if that has nothing for me, I would assume that you folks got nothing for me as well, just because that's like really live, up to date, like, live feed data. So the only one I saw later was CRCT. I didn't even look at it. You didn't see me type it in the chat board or call it out, but yeah, $26 or $23, $4, just very illiquid. It wasn't a familiar name. I did see that pop up though, so you're on point there. Any Bitcoins you see? Oh yeah, I guess, we got class coming up. Bitcoin got smacked around hard over the last evening, and I would love to show it here. Let me just do that quick. I don't know. You get some folks on social media. Maybe they think that I only show Bitcoin when it's pumping up and it looks good. So that's not the case at all. Bitcoin got crushed over the last, 24 to 48 hours. I think some news regarding some blackout in China, in a main region that does crypto mining. Some money laundering allegations, I think, from some institutions, unclaimed or unfounded allegations, but. Yeah, just day over day the last few days here. Big drop. It broke a new high going into the end of last week and a big spike back down after. So it's unfortunate, but otherwise, my stance long term. So we'll see what happens even by the end of this week. Yeah, it just only slows down the run up, Skip. That's all for right now. So we'll sit and wait. Obviously, that does affect, all of the Bitcoin mining stocks and equities, including Canon that we have on our list currently, and Mara and Ride and all of that. The only one that I'm getting a ping on right now from Benzinga, this one, THCB. I don't know what the company does. It's up 5+%, $11 stock, spreads not terrible. Again, it's another one that I don't really need to put on our list. I can if I really want to. I like what we have so far, though, folks. I think that we're pretty much set. I mean, hey, DGLY at the end of it could be the big runner going into the close, and that looks like the slowest here to start things off. If it's not that, then again, maybe it's the CLOV stock. This one isn't totally ridden off on the way up. It didn't really re-break below that 972-ish line that I have in my chart, but it's got to re-break over that major resistance off of 10 first. So, got to see what happens coming up pretty shortly. From later at the bell here, CGA pop. Yeah, but the spread and liquidity is just so bad. Again, another one that we could put on our list if we want to, but don't really need to. Just so thin on the order book there. I'd be really careful on that trade, although, high of the day, moderately priced. There's one more that I'm getting here from the bell, and this one at least is a lot cheaper. The order book still is pretty thin. It's the MOXC stock. Out of all of them, I might follow this, but even for right now, I like what we have between CLOV, Canon, Archon, UAVS, and DGLY. So 5 to wrap it up, folks. And then outside of that, for all of us on social media, as always, if you have yet to do so, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. That'll give you a good ability of knowing when we're going live, when we're not. And then outside of that, if you've yet to join us live inside our cyber group room, go right down to the link on the banner below just to get started. For all of us there, though, just keep in mind, I'm going to repost the picks coming up pretty shortly, and then I'm going to jump in class. Most of us will be in there, but for any of us that do not have access to the Phase 2 stock course, first and foremost, make sure that you talk to your education advisor, give a call to the office, private message them. That's probably easier, at least to get the details. Otherwise, though, I know that Rich and Fausto will be doing the audio commentary, taking you going into the close. All right. Take care. I'll talk to you all soon.